This is the brand new Pixel 10 lineup that Google announced on the 20th of August. With its arrival, you'd expect the Pixel 9 series to be a thing of the past, irrelevant. But one device stands out as something the new series doesn't currently offer, and that's not what a lot of us expected. So today I'm going to be talking about a wildcard option that I consider to still play a big part in this year's lineup. Let's talk about that. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and the Pixel 9 series was significant for Google. And its popularity certainly pushed the Pixel brand into the mainstream and into pop culture. Was it the new design, the new small Pro model, the colours? Well, whatever the case, the Pixel 9 base was a substantial step up, and despite its replacement coming with a new higher rated display and a new zoom camera, there is something that the new phone has dropped, and depending on who you are, this might actually matter. There are of course a few meaningful reasons to pick the Pixel 10 over the 9, the standout really being that 5x optical telephoto camera that wasn't in the 9, combined with Google's super res zoom. It should bring the cheaper model closer in line with its Pro counterparts. But this year Google has taken the base model, which usually would have Pro level main and ultra-wide sensors, ripped those straight out and put the Pixel 9a sensors in here instead. So not only are these sensors significantly smaller, but also lower in resolution. You have to say it as it is, the high-end Pixel 10 has decidedly mid-range camera hardware in it, leaning on Google's computational photography to do the heavy lifting. And you can say it doesn't matter to the majority of people who will be buying a phone like the base model Pixel, but I think it's a real shame because the Pixel 9's cameras are some of the best, not only in terms of raw quality, but the point and shoot reliability that Pixel phones are known for. The big sensors in the 9 were great for capturing detail, particularly in low light environments where smaller sensors can be problematic because they just can't capture the same amount of light. You can't beat physics with software. Sure, this phone doesn't have a long lens, and when you crop in you realise that, yeah, maybe the older version of Super Res Zoom just cannot compete with a proper dedicated hardware telephoto, but I think that dropping quality hardware like this for less powerful stuff and leaning into software, potentially in a phone that you'll be paying big money for, it just feels wrong to me. By the way guys, we're really trying to hit 500,000 subscribers, so if you could hit that button, it would help us all out here at AP. Thanks very much. Speaking of money, the Pixel line is almost infamous for depreciating faster than any other smartphone on the market, or it feels like that at least. They might start out expensive, but generally after the first 3 to 6 months, you'll be able to see models on sale that were once new a little while ago for $100 to $200 off depending on your region and your market. And if you're happy buying professional refurbished units, you can cut prices in half after like 9 months, sometimes even better deals than that. With the iPhone, this is basically unheard of, and it can take multiple years to drop that value in half, even second hand. So it's likely that as long as you're living in the West, when the Pixel 10 goes on sale, you might be able to pick up a Pixel 9 for half the price. And there are a few differences I found in that spec sheet that make this feel like a really good deal. The most interesting actually is that the Pixel 9 runs Wi-Fi 7, where the newer model runs the less powerful Wi-Fi 6E. Both of these specs taken from Google's own website, so unless that's a typo, it seems like a really strange downgrade. And yeah, the Pixel 10 screen is rated at 7 to 12% higher brightness and a battery about 5 to 7% larger too, with 10% faster charging. So there have been changes for sure, but not giant leaps, and so I feel like for the insane price difference, there is certainly a case to be going with the 9. I mean, this screen is absolutely phenomenal. It's a brilliant panel. I have no complaints with it, even almost a year down the line. It's been a great balance in terms of size, it's sharp and it gets nice and bright. It's a really nice looking thing, and charging and battery life for me haven't been that bad. I mean, a full day, absolutely no problems, and then I just top it up overnight. Compared to the newer models, it doesn't seem like we're going to be seeing huge improvements here. Granted, they might be better, but I don't know by how much yet. For me, and I think a lot of enthusiasts online, the real test of the new Pixels will be the Tensor G5. It's built on a new efficient 3nm process compared to the Tensor G4's 4nm process that you'll find in this thing. I wouldn't call battery life and performance bad on the Pixel 9, but we all know that Google hasn't been able to match the efficiency and the raw horsepower of Qualcomm's Snapdragon chips in competing phones. Will that change this year with the 5th generation of Tensor? who knows? What is confirmed right now is that RAM and storage specifications, specifically the capacities, have remained the same on the 10 than they were on the 9. And so we shouldn't expect any major changes there. And I really hope we get UFS 4.0 this year, but that hasn't been confirmed and I kind of don't expect it to, given the vague nature of the launch specifications. There's also the software situation. Now, many of you already know that Google provides heaps of long-term software support for its models. To be specific to the Pixel 9, Google is offering updates for just under 6 more years, taking the phone into 2031. From a software compatibility and support standpoint of view, you shouldn't have to upgrade your phone in a very long time. Whether the hardware, the battery and the performance actually hold up is another matter, but these phones tend to be really good long-term options from an Android point of view because even a year into their life, you've still got loads of software support left in them, so you're not missing out on much by leaving it a year before you buy one. In fact, you're gaining because the price is usually half of what it normally is. And though you might not get every single shiny new feature on the slightly older model, you shouldn't let FOMO get in the way of saving some cash that you could spend on a trip somewhere or spending time with the family. Wow, this is getting a bit deep, isn't it? All right, moving on. The Pixel 9 isn't this perfect smartphone, by the way. Lack of true telephoto can be frustrating in particular moments, and you know what? If you're a power user of any kind, I don't know if the Pixel is the go-to. It just isn't quite at that level. At least Tensor isn't. But overall, I think for the majority of people, the strengths here outweigh the compromises. Now might be the perfect time to go and buy yourself a Pixel 9 because they are so much cheaper than they were when they were new. With the faster Wi-Fi and the more capable standard cameras on here as well, there's certainly some question marks regarding its replacement in the lineup. Of course, we won't know for sure until we have units in the hand, especially on those fine details, but after spending many months with the Pixel 9, I can confidently call this a really good phone. With caveats for sure, but one that I believe will still have its place in the lineup even a year after launch, with a lower price and some better specs. Guys, how do you feel about the Pixel 10 series? Are you a Pixel 9 owner or 9 Pro owner? And have you been enticed to upgrade? I don't know about that one. Are you looking to buy one of these now that they've dropped in price so much? That is a much better deal. And the depreciation on these things is actually kind of wild, but it opens it up to being a brilliant deal a year down the line. Let me know your thoughts on the Pixel 9 and the new Pixels in the comments section, and whilst you're down there, be sure to like if you enjoyed today's content and subscribe to never miss another upload, including our upcoming coverage of the Pixel 10 series devices and hopefully the Pixel Watch 4 as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Ryan Thomas and I will catch you later. Cheers.